Okay, let's give this one more try at least. I think the problem last time was that I was too pressed for time. A 10-minute game is really very short. So this time I have selected to play a 30-minute game. So the two different sides of the activity, free associating and playing the game, won't interfere with each other as much. Or if they interfere with each other, there's time for that interference. Okay, so I just came out of the bi-weekly, that once every 2 weeks, a meeting of our theory group, which was really rich and rewarding. And what is great about this kind of meeting is that there's not much expectation from it. And at the same time, a lot happens in each meeting. I find it inspiring. I can't, after I come out of a meeting like that, I can't quickly jump to doing something else that is serious and structured. Okay, so this is my next move, unless he takes the pawn. Oh, or that. Let's see. I looked at my previous video and I detected a couple of mistakes in the games I played. It's funny to rewatch the game. One of the things that I associate with chess, one of the thoughts that come to mind when I think about chess, is that Gary Kasparov statement. There's a statement he made several times in several different occasions, something that he says a lot. You have to make sure there is time to play or to compete, and there is time to analyze. You have to make sure that you leave time to do both of those activities. There's enough time for both of them, not just one. And of course, analysis happens in the middle of the game too, but it happens in its pure form after games, when there's winning or losing is not at stake. It's already determined. Okay, so I can go back with the bishop. He's probably going to push this pawn forward. Then I'll end up going here. Or I can push forward here, and then he takes and I take, and then he takes here probably. And then what? I don't like that arrangement. And then here there's this possibility, which I would like to prevent. So I can bring my bishop back by 2 squares. This feels a little bit too passive to me. Do I have something better to do? Oh, no, I don't like that. Let's go with this. Yeah, Natalia Smirnov told me recently that 3 people have already signed up for my Jung seminar. And my inner thought, which I didn't mention to her, was like, I'm so grateful for those 3 people that made the seminar official. So I'm looking forward to that with some apprehension, mainly because I'm not a Jung scholar. But I still believe in giving that seminar. And I believe in giving seminars that are facilitated by people on the outside, people who are not professionally, they don't identify with the figure they're teaching, the figure they're discussing. Okay, so this is a pressure point now, and we have 3, 2, and 3. I don't know why he's doing that, but I think he's doing well. He's orchestrating a nice attack here. But if I were him, I would leave that. mm, instead of exchanging, I would leave that knight in that original location. Let's see. What is he gonna do? What can he do here? Okay, he's attacking. If he takes and then he takes, that's it's a little bit too obvious. In these situations, it's better to get ahead of the opponent in the moves. So you are a move ahead. So I don't have this option. But doing that is difficult. Okay, so nothing interesting so far, at least as far as I can tell. Um, yeah. What else? What else? Um, I went to my brother's place yesterday. I have a complicated family life, and that means several things. That means that for me, in my mind, the idea of going home or spending time with family doesn't really feel as comfortable as it does to many other people. On the other hand, it also means that being in a volatile emotional state of tension, of conflict, kind of does feel like home to me the because of the family dynamic within which I grew up. I got used to lots of fights, lots of unresolved conflicts, and my mother in particular is very. She's full of energy, full of drama. She loves um, putting very dramatic spins on events, life events. And by the way, if I were him, I would make this move. But then that's also uncertain because I can capture here, and then that would still maintain this threat. So maybe he could, if he castles, then I'll just take this piece and threaten this piece. I don't think it's a major threat, but he can do he can respond to it. Um, oh, as I was analyzing it, it became actualized. So he see this is an impulse. This is an impulsive move. You lose a piece and you immediately want to attack, but this is not really a gain for him right now. When um, when he falls behind in material, what he should do is to prevent further exchanges because that difference in material will mean more and more the less material is on the table, on the board. Sorry. But in general, I think he's doing well still. This bishop is not that useful right now. My the knight has to be repositioned. How we can do 1, 2. Yeah, let's. No, I don't need that. Yeah, so I was talking about last night, my brother's birthday party, birthday gathering. It's a very small gathering, family gathering, because most of the family members are in different parts of the world. So it was basically just me, my wife, my brother, who's currently single, and my mom. My father is in a different country. My sister is in a different city in Ontario, same province. And there was tension between my mom and my brother, and it was a little bit uncomfortable. And my main task was to constantly diffuse that tension, turn it into something else, transform it, to get that energy and release it through the form of a humorous remark, a joke, something that is more friendly, more in the spirit of fun. And I did that. I managed to do that with the help of course, with the help of other people, especially my brother and my wife. And one way to see that dynamic is to see it as a struggle against the mother, the person who seems like wants to create drama, but that's not very useful. I mean, one thing I thought about after we returned home, I thought, okay, yeah, I did that. I did all those things. I kind of resisted. Um, we think about those things. If one family member is really good at creating dysfunctional situations, it seems like you have a conflict against them, and then you win against them. That you win in your attempts to avoid the conflict, and they lose by not getting what they want. But that is a very it shouldn't be the narrative that we stay with. I think I would like to evolve out of that, to develop out of that. Something that I criticized myself for after the fact last night was, I don't think I was very loving towards my mom. I don't think I was loving towards her by seeing her as a kind of opponent, interpretive opponent, that I won't let you interpret this evening the way you would like to, the way you are really good at doing. So I was too focused on that conflict of interpretation. And I don't recall doing or saying something to my mother that was loving and supportive. And by doing that, I kind of, when you engage in that conflict, even when you win the conflict, you lose, because I mean, for me, in my case, I lose because I maintain the conflict, I maintain the antagonism. But of course, compared to how things were in the past, this is a big improvement. It's a big improvement, but I should keep in mind that there's a lot more work to do. But there is also time. My mom is still in her early 60s, not that old. We have lots of time to work on our issues. But yeah, home is different. And I don't want to imply that I am special in that sense. What I would say is that I have access to that way of viewing home life, family life. I know what it means for it to be not peaceful, that you don't regard home as a place to relax, to place to be yourself, to place to feel free to argue with your family members and not worry too much about how upset they will get. But that's okay. We all have our own. We all have our own concepts of family, our own associations with the concept family. Depending on what those associations are, then we have our own meaning of what family is, and our own tasks, our own life tasks in relation to the family. Okay, so I can take here, and then he takes, and then I take. I think that works. It's a little bit awkward, but I don't mind. And I really love my brother. My brother is someone that I really love, and that gives me access to another way of looking at family. Both my siblings, my brother and my sister, I really love them, and I'm protective of them. I'm very grateful for having them in my life. The relationship with my brother isn't really verbally expressed, as much as my relationship with my sister. I talk a lot with my sister, with my very young sister. She's 20 years old. But with my brother, we don't really talk as much about our feelings towards each other. But we both know that the feelings are there. Mutual affection, love, and support. Okay, what if I come here? I think that works. It's a little bit stuck. The bishop is a little bit stuck, but it has some range of movement, and this pawn is okay. As okay, now it's not. Okay, that was a good move. Okay, I'm a little bit worried about what might happen here, but he can kind of, how many moves is he away from a threat? Like 1, 2, and 3. In the meantime, I can organize a little bit better. I really don't like how I kind of blocked my own queen here. This is terrible. Now it feels a little bit better. He can go. He cannot go here. He can go here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what if I bring my queen back into closer to the center? And see what else we can do. There's not much tension on this board right now. Things are pretty equal, and maybe we are both waiting for the other person to make a mistake. The next thing I do is going to be trying to do a little bit more with this. Yeah, talking about the family and gathering, and I feel so much more peaceful with our theory group, our writers group. This also feels like kind of a family, an intellectual family. John Stuart Mill, in his biography, which I'm just starting to get into, talks about he was a member of a little group called, I think it was called Mutual Development Society. Let me figure. Yeah, James. I know James is a fan of John Stuart Mill. We're inspired by him. Mutual Improvement Society. Yeah. Mutual Improvement Society. It's kind of like resonates with how I think about our group. No, I don't have enough pieces for this. Okay, let's shift the attention a little bit towards the queen. See what happens here. Okay, he saw what I'm doing. And then this move is coming, which allows me to, at the same time, protect my rook and kind of attack the queen. So because it feels like a family, I don't want it to grow. I don't want the theory group to grow too much. I think we can incorporate 2, 3 more new members in our group easily, 2, 3. But after that, I think I'd like to either keep it closed and I certainly don't want to keep advertising it. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is a problem for me now. This is a problem. This is now a threat. So if I push my pawn forward, he pushes his pawn forward, and then we have a big problem. So I must pretty quiet. I mean, this video, I haven't spoken much as um, I would like to. See, that's what chess does. It occupies mental capacity, mental effort, and it's we can still do something with what is left, but what exactly can we do is, and how to do something with what is left. It's also okay. So let's say I bring my rook here, and then he takes, and I take with my pawn. I still have this problem, the problem with this passed pawn. So how about this? It's not very good. I need something better, a better way of attacking this pawn. The only thing we can say is that he's not going to push it right now. He's not going to push it forward. This was glad I said that. This made it really funny. That's the only thing that I could say. Interesting. Why did he do that? Why would you do that? Maybe he's not as hopeful. When you're not as hopeful about a plan, then you kind of sabotage it. Right now, I don't see a way for him to keep this pawn. So what if I take, and then I have 3 pieces against this one pawn, and then he will have 2 after the queen exchange. If he doesn't accept the queen exchange, then he has to take his queen backward or forward to just keep that line of defense, the line of the column of defense against this one pawn, one pass pawn, which this game has become about this pawn right now, and not anymore. Unless I'm wrong. Let's see. See, waiting is a big part of chess. If you have an interpretation about how the game is going, and if you're confident about that interpretation, then you can wait to see how the opponent is reacting to that interpretation, or how he plays a part in the unfolding of that interpretation of that threat. He has an advantage. What if I do this? And he can just take the bishop, and then we'll continue. We'll continue playing without this bishop. Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know why he didn't take the bishop. And he could have equalized the major pieces, the number of major pieces, and he would have been ahead of me with the pawns. There's a nice pawn structure here, and just more pawns than me. I think that was a mistake on his part. So let's see. Let's continue and see what happens. What else happens? Oh, I just let him take this pawn. I'm tired. Maybe he's tired too. I think he's equally tired. So now I cut off the connection between this rook and the rest of the board because he didn't take this pawn. And since it's in the end game, we are reaching close to the end game. They say it is important to have an active king in the end game. The king can play a major role, decisive role in the fate of the game, protecting the pawns and kind of block the path of my king. Mm-hmm. So with this move, I am threatening the rook here, basically. Okay, maybe not. Maybe take with your king here. That might be better. No? Mm, okay. This is a big mistake. Now he's losing this rook, unfortunately for him. And then he should probably resign now. It's like, I don't understand why. Okay, good, good. Okay, this was interesting game. Yes, he's a good sport. Say good game. Yeah, I liked this. I liked this game. And hope it wasn't too boring, the monologue on top of it. I probably wouldn't count these two videos as in the monthly Patreon videos. It's just an experiment for me to do. Thank you for watching if you're still with me. And speak with you in the future.